we are back with the Connect live community podcast. So I'll give you guys a quick rundown, a quick intro of what's going on here, what the plan is, what we're doing. So we have started a group or a community of us, me and some of my friends, have started a channel called Uncensored Live, which is a Twitch channel, a live channel that is going to host a series of live events or like live podcasts. Sometimes I get to do some video editing. Maybe we'll play games, talk about things, bring on some guests, and kind of just see where the conversation goes. So that's the idea with that. This specifically is a series that we're calling Connect. So what this is it's a live podcast where we have a few people on. We pick a subject and we all kind of talk, share information, see what each person kind of does with their life and their business or creating. And we go from anything from mindset to organization, which is what we want to talk about right now. That's pretty much what Connect is, this podcast idea that we have. It can cover anything. We're going to have lots of different guests. We're just going to like kind of roll with this and see where it goes. We're super excited about that. So today we wanted to talk about organization. This was a bit of a topic that came up during our last one. So this is actually our second live podcast now. So this came up last time we talked about organization, and we really wanted to dive in and just see what people are doing and what different techniques we all have right now and what systems we have in place, because that kind of leads to us being mentally capable, staying on track, especially with the way things are right now. I think a lot of people are falling back on having systems to kind of keep them going, keep them organized. So we wanted to talk about that here. I'm sure you guys know if you're watching, my name is Curtis. I'm a videographer based out of Lethbridge, Alberta. I do lots of marketing, video production, online stuff, things like this, media, ads, and whatnot. And then I will toss it to Brady, introduce himself.
Yeah, so I'm Brady, and I own Amped Up Entertainment. So we're a premier DJ service in Lethbridge, but we also serve all of Southern Alberta. Our biggest focus is weddings, but we do schools, corporates. We have a photo booth service as well, so pretty fun. But I decided I really want to do this with Curtis because I think it's a good opportunity for us to meet with other local businesses and just get an idea of what you guys are doing. I, for myself, like I'm always wanting to learn, and the best way for me to learn is to hear other people's experiences. So we're looking to grow, and I think everyone else is obviously looking to grow, especially during these times. We're trying to find ways to grow during the coronavirus. And so I'm so happy to have you guys on here as well. So we'll turn it over to Leah, who's our awesome other member of this group.
Yeah, hi guys, thank you. My name's Leah. I'm originally from the States. I'm located in Vancouver right now. I met Curtis from when I started working with Rendered Magazine, which was an online digital music magazine for EDM and trap. And then we worked together at a bunch of festivals, and Riley, who was on last week too, I miss him. And then I did Agency X, which was a full service marketing company. And now I have Mirai Creative, which I'm doing solely creative direction and consulting as my own company by myself. And I have no business partners, and it's fun. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Let's do the next person. Let's go Brad Bogdan.
I'm Brad Bogdan. I'm a videographer in Lethbridge. I make a lot of wedding videos, music videos, corporate videos, like the usual freelance stuff, some short narrative stuff. But now that I'm in quarantine, I've been making a lot of videos of myself. So I'm shooting like a short film of me in my house. It's like a horror kind of thing. So that's cool. Other than that, I'm just here to steal everyone's secrets because I'm the least organized person out of everyone. Guaranteed. 100%.
I love it. All right, let's go next up with Rod Leland.
Good evening, Curtis. First of all, thanks so much for arranging this. This is a super cool thing to do, during this time. Love jumping on with other creatives and, transcending provincial boundaries with this kind of stuff. So super cool. Thanks. Who I am. So I'm a recovering and relapsing photographer. Originally from Calgary. I spent a couple years on my own as a corporate commercial photographer in Lethbridge before spending about 5 years doing marketing communication stuff with Lethbridge College, and now I find myself in the Greater Vancouver area, still working in marketing communications, and that's where I am now, and just super excited to be here this evening and chat with everyone and chat with people that are tuning in. So thanks for having us.
So when you say Greater Vancouver area, what exactly does that mean?
So I'm technically in Coquitlam, but Coquitlam is shaped more weirdly than Italy, and as such, I'm up on Burke Mountain, like way northeast Coquitlam. My like shopping life and retail life is in Port Coquitlam. So I'm like thoroughly Tri-Cities, but for the ease of viewers and non-Vancouverites, I live in Vancouver.
That's something that I learned really quickly when I got out there. Is not everyone that I think lives in Vancouver lives like anywhere near Vancouver.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like 2 hours out.
Yeah, so like for me, I actually work downtown, but that's a 30-minute ride on a commuter train all the way into downtown, and like an hour actually door to door. But again, for the Albertans, I live in Vancouver.
That's all they're going to really understand, to be honest.
Nice. So just so you guys know, I want to give a quick background on my relationship with Rod. I met Rod in, I think it was like my grade 12 year of high school, grade 11 or grade 12. We were doing this video project. We had the Mythbusters come to town, actually. They were going to do like a little presentation, and they wanted some students to make a video. We got picked to make a video. Rod was working with the university at that time, kind of collaborating on this, I do believe. And he didn't trust us students to do the project, and I heard that he had to step in and he was like, oh, I'll kind of tell them what to do or tell them how to do it. So one day Rod makes this trip from Lethbridge out to Tabor, comes into my basement with like 6 or 7 flight cases full of equipment, some that I'd never seen before, lights and everything like that. He rolls in, dumps this in the basement, sets up like an interview, and is like, all right, I'm going to teach you guys some shit. And to this day, honestly, Rod is probably one of the 5 people who have actually taught me anything to do with video production. Wow. Which is wild. So Rod was the very first person to put a Canon 5D in my hand. So at that point, I had never used a DSLR camera or anything like that before. So Rod was the first person to do that. Taught us how to do it, taught us how to light, kind of taught us everything on the fly really quick. We picked it up, we did the job, he did the edit, the video was fire. And I honestly, I owe a lot of where I'm at to Rod. He knows this, I've told him plenty of times, but he seriously showed me that, taught me a lot how to do it, especially in the beginning where I knew nothing. And to this day, he probably taught me the most that I know, and kind of like where I got my foundation. So that's a really cool thing about Rod. And then following there, I ended up shooting his wedding out in Waterton, which was awesome, right before it burned down, like a couple days before. We barely snuck it in there. Turns out to be a really, really good video. I absolutely love it. Another cool fact, Rod and I did an overnight out to New York, where we snuck out there. His girlfriend, or soon-to-be fiance, didn't know that we went out there. And Rod did this workshop where he actually hand-built his engagement ring for his fiance. And she had no idea we were out there. So we whipped out there. It was like a quick, like an overnight flight. We were there for one day, flew back all the way back the next day. It was long. It was crazy. He worked on the ring and I shot that. So we made a cool little video, which was fun. But yeah, Rod and I have done a couple things together. And I guess I could tie this here with when we were out there and he was working on the ring, I asked the guy, how long is this going to take? And he's like, well, I've had some people that, can do it in about 5 to 7 hours, or depends how meticulous you are. If you're very like detail oriented, this could take forever. And at that moment I was like, oh shit, I'm with the most meticulous person I've ever known in my entire life. We're going to be here for a while. And no lie, I think Rod took as long as possible. We just pretty much barely made our airplane back, which was crazy. But Rod is extremely organized, systematic. He's got everything down. I get so inspired by them all the time. I even watch his Instagram stories, and it's like everything's just a little bit perfected. He's brilliant. He knows everything. So I really wanted to give him a dope intro for you guys. But we can get this going a little bit. Brady, do you want to take it?
So So pretty much what you're saying is we're all going to talk for like 2-3 minutes, and then we're going to turn the time over to Rod.
No, seriously.
He's going to go for like 45 and just
he could
teach
do
us all, because like I'm pretty sure every single one of us can take some of those kind of tips.
He could honestly do like an hour at a time. And then after I invited him on here, I said to him, and I was like, dude, maybe we have to make our own series where it's like I bring you on and you just teach us about some sort of thing every single week. Like it was
good to see you all. I'm going to head out now then.
Rod, you are the Gandalf to our little fellowship.
Honestly, I'm so flattered. Such a cool intro, but again, Curtis has always made it easy for me to teach and to relay things. And again, there's not a lot of people you can reach out to 2 weeks out and say, hey, would you like to fly to New York with me for 36 hours? And we probably won't sleep for more than 4. And also I need you to shoot a video for me. And so I feel like we've always had this really cool symbiotic relationship. And I've been, the coolest thing for me is seeing people that I help or that I run into maybe early on in their creative journey, just take, early bullshit conversations and turn it into a career and incredible, like top of market work. And certainly, Curtis, that's what I see with you. And like, there's no thanks that I need for that kind of thing. That's thanks enough. So certainly appreciate the kind words. And no, I'll try to stick to my time, but I'm also happy to be a repeat guest if there's something else I can share.
All right. Well, I want to keep it nice and short then, because I'm looking forward to his stuff. But so I'm like everyone else at some point. Like I was super disorganized, and to this day I feel like I'm still fairly disorganized. I mean, last night what did I do? I wrote 2 tests and wrote a paper yesterday, and I didn't start learning about the paper until yesterday when it was due at midnight. So that's how good I am when it comes to like getting my schoolwork done. It's the day of usually, but when it came to my business, I definitely noticed I needed to do something or else I was going to trip over my feet, and that was happening. So probably in the first year of Amped Up, because I started beginning of 2018, so we're going to 2020 now. Thought 2020 would be a lot better, but oh well. So the beginning of it, I was starting to get these phone calls, and because our prices were low, so we were able to attract a lot of interesting customers. But one thing I was noticing is I would get a customer, I would get an inquiry, and then I would like forget about it, or I'd send them a message, or I wouldn't really go through the process, and it'd be 2, 3, 4 weeks, and I would lose the client pretty much, because I would then, I remember about them, and then message them back, and they'd be like, oh no, we found someone else, or we just didn't. And it happened over and over. And to this day, it still upsets me, because it's like, oh man, if I would have just kept on top of myself, where could I could have gotten that client. I could have gotten another paid contract. And I don't know if maybe I'm the only one, because like, yeah, I'm money hungry, obviously, like most business owners. But like, am I the only one when it comes to like a client comes in and you kind of forget about them a little bit, and
later
you lose them?
Definitely not the only one.
Okay, good. All right. Just want to make sure I'm not the only one now.
No, especially when you're busy, it's hard. Like, you get like a random DM or something like that, and someone's like, hey, can you send me this? Or hey, can you do that? But when you're working with even like the clients that you already have, when they reach out to you, like I have them reach out and they're like, hey, can I get this from you or get that from you? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. But yeah, you're right. That gets like just lost in the busyness of everything, and you're getting like 40 messages of randomness, and you get one small one, and you're out and about doing something, you're at the grocery store or whatever right now.
It happens all the time.
Right.
Hey, by the way, Curtis,
can so easy.
Just kidding. Just kidding. So yeah, anyways, but 2019 came along, and I'm like, I gotta change this. So I don't know. I started looking at a bunch of YouTube videos and different like forums on how to like get myself in a better place, because if I'm going to grow a business that's going to be successful, you have to be organized. Like I've seen the differences between unorganized businesses and organized businesses, and there is like a clear road as to what succeed and what don't. So the first thing I got on was HoneyBook. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that. So it's a HoneyBook. Yeah. So it's a customer relation management system, and it was fairly inexpensive. I think it was like $20 American a month I pay right now for it. But I got on that and started watching a bunch of videos, and I kid you not, guys, has changed my life when it comes to like my relations with my customers. I am on top of things. It does a lot of like automatic emails to them. It keeps you updated. It goes through your email, but then you have an app, and it's like changed everything too. So in the very beginning, when I was meeting my clients and I was talking with them and okay, we're going to set this up. All right, we're going to book you. Okay. And you pull out like 7 sheets. It's like, okay, this is the contract. Oh, by the way, can you like fill out this forms? Can you put your song requests all in this little paper? And then all of a sudden I got a bunch of like 10, 15 papers that pertains to one client. And I didn't like that. I'm like, that just seems like your next small company coming in, you know? And so Honeybook changed that for me too, in the sense of I was able, by the way, Honeybook, if you're listening, I will take a subscription account on that one, but it like changed everything because it was just I could send it all over to them via email. It connected right to my app. It just changed it. It kept it all consolidated into one area, which it was like the most important thing to me because I was everywhere. And so that started my organization for that sense. And then so Honeybook, definitely a good one. For myself, I've started on the Post-it note train. I kind of got the idea. A company I worked for a couple of years ago, I worked as a operations manager for a landscaping company, and the guy I worked with, the owner of it, he was a year older than me, but he was already managing a company with 25 people, you know, doing fairly well here in Lethbridge. But one of his motivational ways to keep himself going was Post-its, but it was like to the extreme. So some people put like a couple Post-it notes underneath their computer screen, or they have like for me, I have a board in my office now with some Post-it notes, and they're all organized. He wanted to cover the entire wall in his office, like not in his office, but in like the entire building of Post-it notes of things they've done. And I kid you not, they've done it. I went and dropped off videos at their place like a month ago, and I walked in and there's just like yellow and orange and green Post-it notes covering. Like I would easily say probably about 600 Post-it notes. Kid you not.
Covering. Things they've done?
Yeah, things that they've done, things that they're backlogged to do, like the process of stuff. But they just kept things. There'd be things out there. It's like it'd be like notes from 2017 or 2016 to do this, and I'm like, they just kept them up there forever.
How do they organize it?
I think after a while you just don't organize it. So they just like they had like one board, which was their organized board. So that's where they got to like, okay, this is what we actually have to do. This is what's being backlogged. This is most important, like first priority, second priority. But then when it came to the things they completed, it just went. And I kept asking, like, why don't you just start like cleaning those up? Like, he's like, but cleaning them up and making it a little better. He's like, I like looking at it. You know, I like looking. Yeah, it's motivation on the things that you have completed. So when you're having those like crummy days, because everything's all mental, right? When it comes to motivation, when it comes to getting things done, it's all mental. And so he would take a look at that in those crummy days where like a backhoe went down, or you know, one of your good employees decided to leave for another company, and he'd look at the board and be like, okay, you know, we're doing fine, it's all good, it's not the end of the world. And honestly, for a guy who was 28 years old, he was so calm. Like he never screamed at anyone, he never like freaked out. And I've worked for a lot of guys in the trades, and they're always just uptight, and he just never it was like his biggest thing. He never wanted to do that, because every time he was about to get to a point of cracking, he would just take a look at what he has done and what he has accomplished, and it would like calm him down. I thought that was like so cool. I don't know if I thought it was just a cool thing, just like seeing what you have done and being able to like calm your emotions. So I decided to take the Post-it note route, and that's
nice. I like the Post-it notes.
Right? It's fun because like it lights up your room with different colors. Because
you have a wall of Post-it notes.
Yeah,
in that room. Nice.
So I'll just
show me.
Let's see the board. Let's see the board.
So that looks pretty organized.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's
What are
nice.
your columns? Like, how do you segment?
Yeah. Show
I
us.
was going to say the same thing. We need the columns. Yeah.
I better if I just, because I'm using my laptop camera, I'll just tell you. So I have, because I'm actually a student right now, just finishing up. So I have like a school column, and then I have my personal column. So things that I actually want to complete myself, like taxes and reading a book. And then I have my business column, which is obviously the largest one because it just is continually. So I have my board up there with all the different tasks, and then there's the other side's all the completed tasks. And then what I do for here, so I have my priority 1, priority 2, and I can see what's in the process, right? So when I'm working at my desk and I have, my computer open, working, going through the process, I have everything all listed out as, okay, this is what I'm focusing on now. Because for me, I used to never have this issue where like you look at a list of 20 different things. I have this issue now where I look at a list of like 20 different things I have to get done and I start freaking out. And it's like, holy crap, I've got so much going on. What am I going to do? And so I just said, okay, let's just put it down to one at a time. And like Curtis can attest for this because I call him way too much, but like I have, this week I wrote 7 tests. I have finished 4 papers and 6 case studies.
And this is all like online stuff, right? Like
thank goodness, because everything is closed down, right?
So that on top of business.
I still have 4 cases, a test, and a PowerPoint presentation to do. But
studying.
Management major.
Nice.
It was dumb. But the thing is just like, it was just, before it was like putting it off. But by just changing my mindset to like, okay, just one at a time, it almost became like a game. And I think that's what like it helps for every person, is trying to change something into a game. If you're a game kind of person, I am a game kind of person. I love games, and you want to win. Like, you want to win your game. So find ways to like make it fun for you, make it motivational, and then and go from there. So Honeybook was my biggest thing. Post-it notes have been wonderful. I have like little reminders on Post-it notes here, what I want to talk about.
Yeah, it's a good idea. I like that. I like the Post-it notes because they're tangible.
Yeah. And so that's the next thing I want to talk about before I hand it over to someone else. But so I love tech as well, like being in the music industry, the DJ industry, and, in all this kind of stuff. I always try to look for different things. I just love it. But I can't use apps for the life of me. I've tried different apps when it comes to like trying to keep myself organized, whether it's, for like your phone. I just found that it just never really helped me out. I would start on it. I'd go solid for maybe like a week or 2 and then just kind of forget about it or fall off. Same. And it's, for me, it's the visual part of seeing a Post-it note there. It's seeing seeing your task at hand. And I've read a lot of self-help books. I've read a lot of books that talk about putting your goals in more of like a visual sense, seeing what you want to accomplish. I think the most famous one is Jim Carrey. His goal was to make his first $1 million. And so he wrote a check out to himself for $1 million and put it up on his desk. And that was his motivation, was like, the day I get $1 million, I will have completed this goal. And he did that when he wrote Dumb and Dumber and was cast for it too. So
cool.
It's the visual sense just helped me so much with like having the Post-it notes, but then like with the apps, it just didn't work out for me. So it's coming down to like finding out what suits you, because I know like, probably, I guess someone in here probably uses an app every single day and it's changed their lives, right? And so
totally,
I think that's for me. Yeah, sorry.
Apps are hard. I feel like when you're going to use an app though, you really need to commit to it, because it's got to be in a priority high enough for you that you remember to open it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're talking about like, that's why the tangible stuff works so much better, and especially the sticky notes, is because they're there. So like, even if you don't want to look at it, like it's right there. You can't not see it, right? And that's why I struggle with the apps too sometimes, because like you got to remember to open and look at it. Otherwise, if you get busy or sidetracked, you may just not open it again. So it's like, it always has to be top of mind. So that's how I am too. That's why I like the sticky notes.
I have a thought on that. So because I have a problem with opening things too, so I can't do apps or anything like that. So what I've done for me is I have my calendar and I have a little sticky note like program on my computer, but I just programmed it into the startup of my computer. So every time I go on to do an edit, my calendar pops up on one screen and it's full screen, and then my sticky notes pop up in the other screen completely.
Nice.
And so no matter if I'm thinking about it or not, right, when I turn on my computer, it's like, bam, right there. So that's what I needed to do, because same thing, I would never, ever check them. So yeah.
That's, I really like that. I like the idea of, there's something beeping. Who's beeping? Oh, it's me. It's me. I set a timer on my side. I was like, what's going on? None of you guys hear that noise?
I didn't hear it, no.
It'll be on the stream. People will be like, what? At least they hear me. I'm not alone. Yeah. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I just want to say something more about this, Brady, in terms of the tangible versus the digital. I'm firmly in both camps. And all of that being said, there's some exceptionally successful and some of the most highly organized people out there that rely on physical physical boards and physical cues to do their job. And I'm gonna try to put up an example of this that I think would be really cool. So just bear with me for 1 second, and I can explain.
Yeah, perfect. That'd be
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah,
I'm just
Brad.
going to share this. So this is Jay Pearson of Pearson Work Holding, and he makes, and this is exceptionally strange for me to throw out because it's not an industry I'm even remotely involved in, but he makes products for machinists, CNC machinists. And this is the status board that runs his multi-million-dollar manufacturing operation.
Wow.
And this is
Wow.
essentially, he has 17 or 20 some employees in his 20,000 square foot manufacturing facility. This is the entire board that runs his business. And these are fundamental tenets of lean manufacturing. And just because you're not producing, metal vices or something like that doesn't mean that, physical tools to help you stay organized and get through stuff are any less important or less valuable. And
Cool.
if it's valuable, maybe what I'll do, sorry for the mic noise there. If it's valuable, maybe what I'll do is post a link to some Jay Pearson and some Pearson Work Holding videos about how they organize things, because in the lean manufacturing world where everything is examined as, can we save time? Can we be more organized? I think that very much does carry over to media production and the creative arts. So I think there's always places for finding extra time and finding extra organization there.
Yeah, for sure. No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a pretty
cool.
awesome
Nice.
concept. I like that a lot.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a story to kind of add on that. Speaking from an agency point of view, when Alexia and I had Agency X, which was a full service marketing agency, we were looking to hire a project manager to kind of get our own business in order to establish like a system and streamline efficiency. And while we were interviewing people for the job, it was interesting seeing how people sort of displayed how their style of project management was. And the first person that we interviewed actually came with like a massive scroll type piece of paper and kind of like laid it in our office and wrote down a big timeline and how she was going to organize each aspect of our business, which was really interesting because we didn't expect anyone to come in and like draw us a huge diagram. And then the next person that we interviewed was just like Asana, that's it, which is a project management software that you have to pay for a little bit. And yeah, she's like, Asana is the way to go, fully digital. So it was like totally opposite of each other. Mm-hmm. And kind of speaking from an agency point of view as well, it's interesting because I would come in and kind of hire you guys, right, as freelancers. And I'm definitely part of the problem of running around asking people for quotes and kind of just like not remembering who I'm asking. And like, so what I did is I started an Excel spreadsheet of a roster of people that I work with.
By the way, I love Excel. I think everyone here
I love Excel.
Excel is the best thing ever.
Right?
I love Excel for making graphs. I hate it for project management, and I have like minor beef, but also like I want to help.
Yeah, I like it for like keeping accountability of the people that you're talking to and contact information. And I have
very
kind
true.
of like baseline quotes. In terms of project management, I did end up using Asana, which was interesting because it's kind of like what you were talking about, Brady, with Honeybook, is it kind of streamlines everything and you can like check off boxes. And it's also really good when you're working with a team because everyone creates a profile on Asana. And even your clients can create a profile and hop on and see where you're at in the project, which is really nice. And you can color code everything and you can see it in one big timeline on a digital platform. Which
Maybe this is a good time for me to do my 10 minutes because I was going to talk about Asana.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
The perfect leeway. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Look at that. Okay. Yeah, let's do this in here. I'm not even gonna set that timer because it's just someone tell me when my 10 minutes is up, or I'm getting close. I'll try and go quick here.
We got you.
Okay, so I'm gonna pull up an Asana notebook and show you how I do this. So let's go.
Oh, we lost Brad.
Oh yeah, lost Brad there. Eh?
Can you?
Oh, just an internet blip. He'll be back.
Curtis, like, are you paying for a membership?
No, I'm not paying for a membership right now because I being too cheap. All right, can you guys see this?
Yeah, just wondering if Brad will come back on or not.
Yeah, we can. Well, let's continue forward, and I'll just walk through Asana because it's a little bit more specific. So, down here, I use Asana for more project stuff specific. So I'm going to create a new notebook. So I'll show you how easy it is. So you can create like a project is what it's called. Everything's like split up into projects. I'm going to run through and show you how easy and quick it is to create a project. And then I'll show you, I built like a test one that I can kind of show you like how I'm using it right now, or how I'm going to start using it to keep organization on things. I used to run, oh, now Rod jumped out. I used to run everything. Oh, there he is. So
just wanted to mute my audio and video in the event of blowing my nose as a courtesy to everyone, everyone like you, including the viewers. That's all. Don't be alarmed.
I'm here. Brad now.
Oh,
and Brad's back.
Brad's back.
I'm back. My Wi-Fi just got, so I just hardwired myself in. I'm good now.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, so I'm jumping into Asana to show you guys. I'll give a run through back later on, but essentially what it is, like Leah was talking about, is it's a board and a list categorization type of platform. You can easily add teams and stuff on there, so you can add yourself, and then you can add team members or even clients that can come on and view specific notebooks, or I call them notebooks, projects, which is really cool. It's a great way to stay organized, but also plan, and even like, you know, kind of get like a strategy coming through on how you build something. So I'll show you guys as a test in here. I'm going to create a new project. I'll just call it uncensored live test. There's a list view and a board view. I've been using the board view lately, which is what I like the most, but we'll keep this one public to the people in Curtis Media, which is just me anyways. So this is what it looks like when you start with a board. So to do in progress and done is kind of like the basis of what they say, but I'll set something up to kind of show you how I use it. So the first one, I would go like live stream ideas. And this is where I'm going to put like all the random ideas that I have. And then I can pull those through the next part. So then this one I could do current series, which is the different series that I have on the go right now. So I'll create those quick. That could be Connect live podcast like we're on right now, and live editing with Curtis, which is something else that I'm going to do and develop. But this is a spot where you can kind of get an overview of the different series. In here, I call this one pre-production. So this is essentially just like working, I'll call it. So this is like ideas that I've taken that I'm working on right now. So an idea that I had that I'm gonna work on and develop is live editing wedding video. So I'm actually gonna edit a wedding video live completely through, and then I'm gonna make sure that they don't watch it and that they can tune in, and I'm gonna show them live on the live stream. So they'll like watch it for the first time on the live stream, which would be fun. And then another column that I would have is scheduled streams. So this is kind of how I set up like lots of projects. So this is the scheduled stuff, edits and uploads. And then say I do like completed or something, and I'll kind of show you. So that's how easy it is to set something up like this. You can change them really, really quick. The other view that you get in here is a list view. So when you're on the list view, it just comes down as like one big long list, which is nice. And I'm going to move this.
I was talking about when you can check things off.
Yeah. So on this list view, you can check items off. You can move items around. You can make them. So it depends what it is. Like sometimes I like the list view when I'm more working in like a top down form. The list view works great. So it could be like a pre-production, production, post-production, like editing and whatever, however I want to order it. But I like the boards because of the ease of like moving something around and like categorizing it. So that's how I have that set up. So I'll drag in one that I was kind of working on here. Can you guys see this new one here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is something that I'm set up that I am using or will be using and continue to be using right now. So you can see here under the ideas, I put ideas here. So organization systems with Rod, that was something that we had randomly mentioned. So I tossed it in here quick because when I'm doing this 30 dailies challenge, looking for something to live stream every day, I'm going to need ideas. It's easy to forget because there's 1,000 things going on. So I can just dip back in here and check it out. So whenever I have ideas, I'll be adding them to this. So Brad, too many people, man. One Brady and I had talked about was a customer experience or customer relations type one, maybe like building trust with people. So I just jot that down quickly. Another one I thought is my homie Chris and I want to live stream some Call of Duty, but we want to like team up with other creatives and kind of like interview them and ask them questions and random shit while we're doing that. Another one obviously could be playing some music, doing a DJ set or music sharing. These are the current series that I have going on. This is the pre-production, so stuff that I want to start working on. So the nice thing about this too is in each task, when you click it open, there's a description. You can add a due date, assign it to a person, or there's subtasks. So this subtask I made here was schedule editing sessions and plan project. So I haven't actually like gone in here and put all the subtasks and everything that I wanted to do. I still need to do that yet. So what I did was I put that as a task itself, put it to myself or assigned myself to it and put it on the calendar for tomorrow.
Can I add on to what you're saying?
Yeah,
Chris?
absolutely.
So this is also a good reason why Asana is good if you're working with a team, because you can task people where he just tasked himself. You can task other people. And also too, to like streamline efficiency, you can replicate this entire board that he has shown right here. So for next time, say he wants to keep this whole thing going, he can just replicate it, and then he doesn't have to put in each column every single time.
Yeah, you can make exactly. You can make like a template. So if you had like a systemized structure that you liked for specific projects, you could create a new project from that template and have everything in and just roll with it. So then what I
put documents in too.
Files, documents, links, like everything. And then under here, we could, if I'm going to add you guys to this, obviously, so we can like all work in the same place and put ideas and you can see what I have and develop stuff. We can assign each other tasks, but we can also talk down here. So we could, we could say whatever we want, leave a comment. We can comment on items. It's really nice. And then what I do is I have the scheduled streams here. So this is what I'm scheduling. So this was today's. Obviously, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. A quick tip on my naming organization, you'll watch if you notice like on lots of my file stuff. So once I have a date, I put that at the start of everything. So this is 2020-0409, which is today. 2020-0410, this is tomorrow. And then I just do an underscore because this is exactly how I name my projects and my files. That way I can sort everything by date because I like to see things chronologically. So I can see them by date. And then I put the title of whatever it is, and then like a description or something after. So you can see I've done that for these here. And then once I take them from the scheduled, once we've done and it's been streamed, I would drag it over here into the edits and uploads, like you can see here. And then I have subtasks. So the first stream that we did, the full YouTube, which I finished. So I need to go through, pull segments, social highlights and stuff, so I can see all that there. Once that's finished, I can drag it over into completed.
Sorry, can we talk about the rainbow unicorn for a second?
That's the best part of Asana, and it has a great sound. Can you play the sound, Curtis?
How do I turn that thing on again?
I don't know.
I don't even have it set. I gotta figure that out. And then you can see here I have like Twitch assets. This was just some assets that I had to make, so I was just doing a bit of brainstorming. But I really like Asana for two things. It's great for brainstorming, because you can kind of just jot ideas down and you can just toss everything, like dump everything into one column and then kind of go through and organize it later and add to it and go for it. But it's just a great way to like dump everything in your brain out, and then you can build it out to be like as in-depth as you want. And the projects are great. I mean, I have quotes and estimates. So when I wasn't using a different software for some of the client management and like project management stuff, in terms of like what Brady was talking about, like Honeybook, I use something similar to that right now. But I had everything in here. So I had one that was just tasks. So that was that was just a list of like 30 random tasks. So something I didn't want to forget, I would drop it in there. College, and I have pricing, and just other different projects that I was working on. So the coolest thing about this is that you have a My Tasks area. So this is where stuff comes in listed. So there's lots of things you can see from old projects that are in here as well. But my favorite part about this is when you go to your calendar view. So you can see all those tasks that I added in here are showing up right here. So this was the podcast, the live podcast that we're doing right now. And then this was all the stuff that I need to edit, that I still need to edit today. Not mentioning when we drag this one over to the edit and I got to create that content itself, but you can see it all here in a calendar view. And then I could look and be like, okay, this is just way too much. Like, I'm not going to get all this done today. I can start dragging some things over to tomorrow and kind of reorganizing it. And then anyone can see this view. So they also have this calendar view inside of the project itself also, which is nice. But
that is nice.
No, I really do like Asana. It definitely changed my life. I use it in any businesses that I have. Whenever I gotta make notes or collaborate on anything, Asana is my first go-to, just because of the flexibility of how you can use it, because you can set it up exactly how you want. And once you set it up, if you want to make changes, you can just make those changes too, which is really good. But it's probably my number one way of communicating with a full team, not just for conversation, but for task-oriented stuff and just staying organized. Without Asana, I'd be screwed. It worked really well when I was running my own business, as well as working at Avonlea Homes as the marketing coordinator. I really had to rely on something like this to keep everything together. But that said, it works if I open it, because sometimes I just get busy on working and I know what I'm working on, so then I don't open it, which is what's happened lately. I haven't really used it until I had to come in here and, was preparing this stuff for today, and I was like, I really wanted an Asana file based around this podcast and stuff we're doing. So I finally got to making one, and I feel better having it all down again anyway, because once it's down in the program, it's there and you can kind of like dump it out of your brain and forget about it, which is a very relieving feeling kind of when you get everything down there. And I like to call that a brain dump. I went down this like organizational thing with my friend Steve Christensen one time, where we were trying out like all sorts of different programs, like Trello and everything like that. We really dove into Evernote for a bit. Evernote was great, but it was more based around notes, so more like notebook oriented. It was really good though. You could add everything into it, like documents. You could search everything. We were super in deep on Evernote, and I absolutely loved it. You had like an inbox where you would put everything in and then sort it through later. This is kind of the same thing, just a little bit more like task specific. But yeah, this is kind of my this has been my go-to, my lifesaver. It's great for everything. I used to use it for managing all my projects, but I recently switched to a new program called Tave, I do believe. Very similar to Honeybook, whereas you have like your client and your project, and you can attach your quotes and invoices and automatic messages and all that through there. So that's how I'm staying on top of my business stuff, which I could show that another time. But yeah, that's my tip, Asana. I'm glad it naturally came up like that, but I think everyone could benefit from Asana. And if you have any questions, shoot me a message, because I love this shit. I'm a little bit of a nerd.
Cool. It's how I set up my my stickies and my calendar, but it's just put into one thing. And I like how you can move them over.
Yeah. And then
having to redo them every time.
Exactly. And then you can also like, what I'll do is I'll have my calendar in Asana will feed directly to my Google Calendar as well. So that stuff will show up in my Google Calendar, so I can see that on like my phone and everything. And that's another thing. I've been using my Google Calendar for scheduling recently, which has been great.
Yeah, I do that too.
I think that's one thing I'm working on too, is I'm trying to incorporate everything into Google. So like on my, there we go.
Oh my God, look at that.
That's how I stay motivated. My new motivation for today.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's absolutely
that's
breathtaking.
Good. That's good.
Can you just share that? Can we all get a virtual background going with that? Just for like 2 minutes of the stream, I'm down.
I'm sweating.
So I think this might be a good time for me to go then.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Back on to what you were saying, Curtis. I was going to mention Asana, and also everything that Curtis just shared isn't even nearly the ability, like even close to the ability of Asana. Like that's just like the very simple basics. And one benefit of Asana, if anyone does want to use it, and you can kind of apply this to any program you're using, is putting down the systems and being able to replicate it. Like that's the key part of organization, rather than going through each time to remember, do I have this contract sent? Do I have whatever? Just like replicate it, boom, the second you start a project.
Yeah, almost like investing your time into the initial foundation, like building that and then reusing it, because it saves you so much time later on. Like,
Exactly.
and you don't miss anything. That's my favorite part about it.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just going to say processes and strategies are key. And I know I talked about this last week, but just to kind of mention it again, another something that you should implement into all of your projects is doing a post mortem and going back and looking back and seeing what you could have done better or something that you missed. That's a huge thing that I've been trying to implement into my organization. Even now, during quarantine and all this coronavirus stuff, is a really good time to look back and check out things that you've missed. Also, too, for me, I don't know if this applies to all sexes, but I was going to say if any girls are out there listening, like for me, in order for me to sit down and do my work for the day, I need to have a certain amount of things at my desk and have it set up a certain way that I like. I don't know if you guys are like this.
That's
Definitely.
me. Yeah. I have to organize my room a certain way.
My plants, my cactus,
Yeah, exactly.
their plants, like
It's a vibe.
It's like about setting up a vibe and kind of like, I always have flowers. I always have a candle going. I have like some crystals and stuff, keeping me going.
smooth jazz in the back, and
Little jazz in the background, some Tom Misch always. So that's been keeping me motivated too, is like having a good space that I like to be in. Yeah, that was kind of all I wanted to say.
No, getting in a good space really contributes to how well, when I'm editing for hours, if my environment's not just tuned in perfectly.
Yeah,
Can't
for
do it.
reals though. Makes a big difference.
Curtis, you
want
want to talk about
perfect everything?
You want to talk about those little like light pads that are behind you for those who might be a little interested, like
These things?
adding
Yeah.
something to your background.
These are the LifeX tiles. Back when I was doing 30 dailies, when I was living in my parents' basement, I was working and living in pretty much everything in like one little room. So I had like my desk right there, and it was really difficult to like roll out of bed and sit at my computer and work because I edit late. Like I'm a night owl, so I'm up all day. So like right now, I sat down pretty much to work. So I'll do this. I'll be on my computer for the rest of the night until probably 4 or 5 in the morning. So that's what I did last night. So that's my schedule right now. So to roll out of bed after when you're on like not sleeping or whatever and just like start to work is not that easy. Like it becomes really difficult. Like you're just in the same place, and it's really hard to like stay motivated. And we were doing some filming in there, and I was like, you know what, I need to lighten this up a little bit. Back in my old house, I had like lots of hue lights and stuff, and I just didn't in there. So I wanted something quick. I picked these up. I think they were like a couple $100 from Best Buy. I had them on the wall originally. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff with them. So I didn't want to commit to putting them up because I didn't know what I wanted yet. So I just put them along here, and it works pretty good. It's on like the fire setting right now, so it looks like a bit of a fire. Usually I like to have them on like blue or something. Last time I did that, Leah messaged me and told me to change it because it was too bright. But yeah,
Is it animated?
Yeah, it's animated. It's actually moving.
Ooh.
Yeah, it can do all sorts of crazy stuff. But so I have that, and then I have like some hue lights and whatever around. I don't know. Some people think it's gimmicky and whatever, like when things are lit up and it's blue and like anyone can say what they want. I don't do it because I think it makes me look cool on here. It has nothing to do, like I had all this shit before I took any videos or anything like that in here. I just sit here all day, man. Like I just want to sit somewhere that I enjoy. I want to sit somewhere cool and fun. Like, yeah, look, Brad's got that sexy blue light going right now with me in the background. He's at that oh my God, that's hilarious.
It kind of reminds me of, do you guys know those lights that are like daylight lights that will wake you up naturally with
Yeah. Yeah. I think you can even like put that in.
That's not
these.
fake news. Those are entirely legitimate, especially if you can link them up with your actual sleep cycle. Mm-hmm. And there's totally ways to do this where your phone can figure out where you are in your sleep cycle, and when you finish your rapid eye movement cycle, it can start your wake up routine so that not only do you wake up at the end of a sleep cycle, but you do so gradually and to the right color temperature and with the right time. And that is waking up in
That's
the
crazy.
spoiled first world refreshed. That's real life.
I am the worst morning person. I kid you not. Like, it has been my biggest crutch. And the sad part is my wife is worse than I am too. And so like, it's always bad because like we'll challenge each other who could sleep in later. And so it doesn't work out for either of us pretty much.
That's hilarious. That's my kind of game right there. Yeah, you see these things got like all sorts of themes. So I can go on this one. I can go relaxing, energize. It changes to green, and I can go holiday. It goes green and red. It's kind of hard to see on your guys' end because they're so bright. But yeah, that's got all sorts of like cool little settings. I think it even has a strobe.
I definitely agree with you, Leah. Like, it's so important your environment that you're working in. And like, if you have a system, if you have something that like gets you ready to go, there we go. If it gets you like pumped to work or whatever, like for me, it's music. I need to have music. So when I'm studying, it's always like slow electronic, a little bit of like trap music, but like non-lyrical. Because if I hear lyrics while I'm studying, I don't learn a thing because I start thinking about the lyrics.
Just wants to sing.
I just want to sing along with her, you know, like. But as soon as like, you know, if it's a different situation, I switch. Music for me is the one that switches up a lot. But like I noticed the last place we were living in, it was just all white walls, and my office was the same thing. It was all white. And I've been trying to incorporate over time like little things here and there just to kind of like change the mood a little bit, you know, get me in a situation where it's like I'm ready to pound out, I don't know, 4-6 hours of whatever I need to be doing in order to complete the task that is at hand. And so
totally
it's so important. Your environment is so important.
That's why I bought a laptop, so I can just go to coffee shops and continue editing.
Yeah, I wish I could do that more. I'm so like tied down to here. I would just miss all my random shit, like monitors and stuff.
Yeah, working
like that.
and sleeping.
It's a hardware thing. It's a hardware thing. Like at the end of the day, you're not going to take 4,000 or 5,000, you know, wide pixels to the coffee shop. I know I'm not. No one's working on a 15-inch laptop and getting things done productively as a creative that's manipulating assets. If you're writing, sure, by all means, you know, take your noise-canceling headphones to Starbucks and get her done. But like, as a creative, when you need a couple thousand times 4 pixels to get your work done, a coffee shop's not for you.
Oh, I know. I like because I can edit on a laptop. I have before, and like when we're doing like overnight edits and stuff at like music festivals or whatever, you got to break the laptop out. But every time I'm like, damn, the screen is so small. I need so much more real estate. I could work so much faster. Like that's at a point where I'm like, this is holding me back. And then I get frustrated and I'm like, I'll just wait till I get home. Screw it.
Yeah. All right. We should give Brad some time to talk a little bit before we swing it over to Rod to wrap us up. To wrap us up and everything. So Brad, what do you got for us?
For my secret organizational skills,
or just your back end, you know, not even organization, just like how
you work.
Yeah.
What systems do you have in place that you work with?
I'm very just spontaneous, and I don't know. I'm not the most organized human being in the world, although I do use my calendar, my stickies. For every time I talk to a client about anything, I always put it in my phone in my Google Calendar. For everything, whether it's call them, whether it's like an update on something, whether it's how much is left for a payment. Like I take notes on every single thing I do on my phone, and it's linked to my calendar and my little like task section thing. I have like folders and subfolders of just projects and organization for documents and contracts and everything. And so I don't have like, that's why I like the, when you guys are talking about, what's it called? Asana? Yeah, because it seems takes a lot of like, the different, cause I'm using like calendars and things and folders and they're kind of all over the place, but I like anything that could bring them all together for me is what I'm missing in my workflow. Yeah. Just so it's like more easily accessed and everything. But for me to stay motivated in doing things and organization, having a great environment or changing my environment, or I take a lot of breaks. So if I personally work more efficiently if I work for like half an hour to an hour, then I get up and I go for a walk around my block or something. And for me, it's amazing how I can be stumped on an edit and I can't figure out, or I can't get the flow right for a music video or something. And I just go for a walk to the park or get a coffee, like a Starbucks is a few blocks away. Then I walk there, walk back. When I sit down, it's like completely different mindset, like I'm a whole different person, and like I get it and I can keep going. So for me, the hardest thing for me is that I have my workstation and I sleep in the same room. So
dude, that's so hard.
It's tough.
You sleep with Curtis in the same room? Like
whoops.
That's so
So
It's got something to tell us, I guess.
yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I don't know. For me, environment is huge for me just because I don't have the best environment to do all this. So speaking of working on laptops too, it's a lot harder working on a laptop because your pace at what you can edit is really slow. Because I work on 2 huge monitors, and I can edit quickly. But if I get like a mental block in anything I'm doing, then I'm willing to sacrifice the speed at which I do things, and I'll just whip up some. Like I work through proxies, so I can transfer between my laptop and my desktop.
Right.
And I'll just go somewhere else. Like I don't care. I'll go sit on a hill, and I'll just sit there and edit slowly. But at least I get some forward
Ideas.
motion, because I get stumped for days sometimes on edits. So.
Oh man, that's the worst
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah, what's up?
So it's kind of random, but it's 7 p.m. and I live downtown, and I'm just hearing everyone cheering outside on their balconies for the healthcare
Ooh.
workers.
Do it. Show us.
Okay, we're going.
Let's do it.
We're going.
Take us out.
I'm taking you.
Oh, that's
let me know
awesome.
if you guys can hear it.
Oh, there's.
Oh, that's awesome. How cool. Woo! I would scream, but it's gonna be weird. So
Put us on speaker.
Anyways, back to the podcast.
that's awesome. I love your
cool.
downtown apartment so much, Leah.
Thank you.
I want to come back so bad.
Yeah, Vancouver misses you. I was actually talking about you today.
Really?
Do a music video with you. We'll talk about it.
Oof, oof. Yeah. Well, I was supposed to be out there the other week,
No.
but things change.
Rona.
I'll be out there soon enough. We can come out there and film some of this stuff together. That'd be fun.
Yo, no call though.
Well,
the hell,
of course. Oh, come on, dude. You know. Yeah. All right. Well, should we give it up to Rod to spew us some knowledge, leave us off on a good note here on this this topic of organization?
This is what I'm craving.
I'm so psyched for this. So
Me too.
I went and found an old deck that I had. So
Nice.
you need to forgive me for the amount of extra that comes with throwing up a PowerPoint deck on an impromptu Twitch stream, but I'm going to do it anyway.
This is why you're here.
Shut the fuck up. and just don't worry about it. So that's the whole situation. So I'm just going to share my second monitor here, and we'll party on. So let me know if this doesn't work out properly screen sharing wise. It should be all good. Is
We're good.
that a
The side is
full
blank.
screen deck now?
It says this slide is blank. No, really, there's nothing here.
Good. Okay, we're sorted. So
Ooh.
I'm going to teach you how to be less terrible at email.
Oh, I need this so bad right now.
This is something I'm like super passionate about. So
Yeah,
back-
you taking notes?
Yeah. I always write down notes. So that's another thing, just to kind of side note. I always have a piece of paper, like notepad or something, next to my desk in case I need to jot something down. So I'm like our team.
Taking notes on my phone.
Me too. I just wish I wrote on it more often. It's just empty.
Okay, so I'll jump into this. I'm going to be looking across because I have my actual deck on the second monitor here. I'll try to do what I can here. So the biggest thing about email is that I think you need a system, and yours probably sucks, so you should use mine. So I would contend that instead of checking email, you should process email. And you should wholeheartedly and 100% stop checking your email. Stop checking your email. You should process your email. What is checking email? Or excuse me, what is processing email? It's more than checking, and it's less than responding. So it's really important to kind of strike a balance there. So essentially, what does that mean? And what does it do at the end of the day? Is essentially every email you ask the question kind of like, so what? And by that you convert emails to actions. Every email has an action, and the whole point of processing your email instead of checking it is that you should get really, really good at figuring out what the action is that comes into an email. And at the end of the day, that's designed to limit the number of touches. So in manufacturing or in shipping or in a lot of things, we want to limit, triple handling or double handling. You should never interact with an email more than once, ideally, definitely not more than twice. This is easy, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing you need to do is essentially just ask, when an email comes in and when you're processing your emails, what does this message mean to me and why do I care? And that follows directly by, what action, if any, does this need? And can I close this out with any kind of action? We want to be so super critical about every single thing that drops into our inbox, like be militantly ridiculous about everything that drops into our inbox. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So essentially, at the end of the day, every email needs an action, period, full stop. The first action is delete or archive. And there's a really, really simple kind of binary action here. Is there any chance you will possibly need to reference this in the future? That's the question, and it's a yes or no answer. Is there a chance I need to reference this in the future? Yes. Archive the email. Is there a chance I will need to reference this in the future? No. Delete the email. And it's literally that simple. It's 100% binary. So a notification that you've got a message from some social media platform, there is a 0% chance you'll need to reference that in the future. Delete it. A bill that the internet company sent you, there is a moderate chance you'll need to reference that in the future. Archive it. And it's literally that simple. So for the four of you, how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like you could assign either 1 or 0, archive or delete, to anything that comes into your inbox?
That'd be hard for me.
Why?
I'm scared to delete things.
Because maybe this plays into what you're going to say further on, but I feel like I need to reference things. There's times where I've had to look back at things to get different addresses for places or things, but maybe I should keep note of it better.
No. Here's the thing. There's no penalty to archiving a message. And you can set your threshold wherever you want as to, how likely am I to need to reference this in the future? Your threshold can be very high or it can be very low. So if you think like, there's a slight chance in 3.5 years from now that I will need to know the old address of this business that is no longer my client, that's fine. Archive it. You're not running out of fucking space in your Gmail. Yeah. You have 4 gigs free of 7. It's fine. Archive it. It's all good. But at the end of the day, the email that Facebook sent you that let you know that someone commented on your photo, there's a 0% chance you need that ever. Yeah. Does that help a little bit?
Kind of like getting rid of like more spammy stuff. Are you just talking about just with your client emails?
I mean, anything client related, whether it be anything client related, there is a half decent chance you're going to reference that back. I would archive.
Oh, I get what you mean now. I get it now. No, I agree with you. Okay, I'm on board.
Okay. Anyone else on that one?
I just don't want to go through all those emails to delete them.
We're going to get there.
Okay. Keep going.
Sweet. So action number 1, delete or archive. Fine. Action number 2, delegate. If something is not your job, tell someone else to do it. And it is very much that simple. If you are working on a team project, if it is something your wife or your partner or your husband is meant to do, tell them to do it. If it is something an employee is meant to do, tell them. If it's a subcontractor, tell them. Forward it. Say, hey, Scott, this is you, not me. And then after you delegate it, probably because it's, something, if you're delegating something, you may need to reference it back, then you archive it. There are a decent number of things that come into your inbox that are not your job. They're someone else's job. and you should delegate them, full stop. Can you guys think of like examples in the real world, or even like, pull up your inbox on your phone or in a browser window right now and see something that you are going to or have delegated?
I do that if, say I'm doing something with someone, like, and we have tickets to something. This is like the most recent thing that I can think of. Like, if you have tickets to something, like, immediately forward that and be like, hey,
Yeah, that's
here's
true.
the info, just so you know.
Perfect. Okay. So that's action number 2 is delegate. And I think that one's pretty straightforward. So action number 3, respond. Oftentimes someone is like, hey, are you available on Thursday? Yes. Archive. Next. 5-second interaction. A lot of times it's a back and forth thing, and you can very quickly respond and dispose of the email. Whether it ends up being deleted or whether it ends up being archived, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's just respond. And respond comes with the caveat that it's subject to a 2-minute rule. So if it takes you longer than 2 minutes, you're not responding right now. That's respond. So then we get on to action number 4, defer. If it's something you're not doing right now, you defer it, which means it stays in your inbox. Because your inbox is a place where you go for a to-do list and you process your inbox. And if you've completed work, you've won work, you've finished life, no one is talking to you, you're actually at inbox 0, there's nothing for you to do. That's rarely the case. So like, I've hit legitimate inbox 0 across all of my different inboxes, I don't know, maybe 6 times in the last 10 years, where there's actually nothing in there. And it's not about actually getting to 0 things in your inbox. It's about having a system to process your email so that it doesn't build up and you lose things and lose tasks and forget about things and don't respond to people. It's about having a system to process your email so that things don't fall through the cracks. So there may be times when you defer things. So you get a bill from Shaw, it's not due for 25 days. That's fine. You're just going to read it and say, hey, it's not right now. You leave it in your inbox, and the problem it creates for you, which is a fantastic problem, is that it's going to stay in there for a couple of weeks, and it might be only one of 3 messages, and you have to do that thing and pay that bill before it can be archived. And so it's going to worm in there, and the older an email is that stays in your inbox, the more it's going to grind your gears, and eventually you will get so pissed off that email that's still in your inbox that you're going to perform an action on it, something other than defer. And then lastly is do. And this is very simple. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it. Do it immediately. And there are so many emails that come to your inbox that fall into this category. So if someone's like, hey, I would like to meet for coffee next Tuesday, great. Do the thing, which is relegate that email to a calendar invite. If someone's like, hey, I need you to send me this file, send them the file and then say, I've sent you the file, and then archive the email. Anything that takes less than 2 minutes that needs to get done, you do, and then archive the email or delete the email. Usually something that you do, I would archive because I want the record of the fact that I did it for them. So if a client's like, can you send me this file? Hi, Susan. Yes, I've sent you the file. Here's the link. That took me less than 2 minutes, and I'm going to archive it so that when Scott, the creative director, comes back and is like, why didn't you send that file? Say, actually, I did. Your person lost it. It wasn't on me.
Nice.
So literally, it's 5 actions that you can assign to any email: delete, delegate, respond, defer, do. And when you're processing your email, every single email can be one of those 5 things. And because I haven't presented this deck in a long time, I have a whole bunch of extra slides that I'm going to whip through because we went through them in the last set. Stand by.
I love this. I'm all about this.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Awesome. I'm happy to share the deck after as a PDF. So what I just kind of summarized, all of these actions are designed to relegate emails to, or all of these are designed to relegate emails to actions, because every single thing that comes into your inbox is actionable, full stop. Fucking argue with me, and I will show you in your inbox personally, any of you, that we can kind of prove that out. And so I honestly hear this a lot, which is, how could I possibly get started doing this? I get a million emails. What do I do about my folders? I love my folders more than my firstborn children. I can't possibly delete an email. What if I miss something? What the fuck is wrong with you? And I've heard this from hundreds of people, and that's totally fine. So here's the structure of the folders that you actually have to care about, because the whole thing about processing your email this way is that folders go away, because it's 2020 and you don't need folders, because every email client you have has a robust search function. So what do your folders look like? Archive, something that's actionable, your spam. If you're really twitchy, you can have a folder where you're waiting for someone to come back to you, and you can use a tool like Nudge Mail or something like that. Those are all the folders you should need. And I would urge you to jump off the deep end and don't have more folders than that. So, of course, you have your archive, because that's where everything that you've dealt with goes. And that's fine. You need that for legal records and following up and proving to Scott that you sent the email to Linda, and it's all fine. Your spam's not going away. Maybe you're going to have a waiting for folder or a response needed folder or something like that, so that you don't forget that Karen didn't send you the brief that you asked for 2 weeks ago. But, there's probably going to be a showstopper at some point where someone's going to say, did you get that from Karen? No, I didn't. Let me go back and search, because I use Gmail or whatever it is, where the search is so good that it's not going to take me long to find that email. I don't need 60 folders for client 1, person 2, whatever it is. You can search and find the email you want relatively quickly. So how do you get started all of this? Nuke everything. And you can do this with your inbox. If you have 3,000 emails in your inbox, you can go nuke everything. So find, the most important 10 senders that you have and search by them, and then grab anything from the last, couple weeks and leave that and nuke everything else, or archive everything else. And what I would contend is that you can toss everything and bring anything that's actionable back. So you could literally take your entire inbox and archive absolutely everything. And then at the end of the day, in your inbox, there's probably only 10 or 12 things that are actually actionable for you. And then you can go ahead and take those 10 or 12 things and process them according to delete, delegate, do, respond, defer. You can absolutely 100% do that. And as much as we're in, war times pandemic wise, you should also feel like you're in war times email wise, and this is triage. If something is really important and you miss it, someone will email and follow back up with you. And the most likely you're going to be to actually get to zero is now, when you toss absolutely everything and bring back 10 or 12 emails and then process them down to zero. And I would also contend that you should start batching your email. From a productivity perspective, you should spend 10 minutes, an hour or less on email, and then work for 50 minutes or whatever timing cadence you want. If you are constantly checking your email, you're getting distracted every 3 minutes or every time an email comes in. And what you should do is shut your email the fuck off. Open it up at the top of the hour, spend 8 minutes processing your email or 10 minutes processing your email, quit your email client, close the Gmail tab, go do your work because you don't get paid to email people, and then rinse and repeat that 6 hours throughout your workday. So many people fall off this wagon, and that's totally fine. Everyone relapses. It's part of email recovery. So what do? Oh, all of a sudden I have 100 emails in my inbox. That's fine. Dump everything. bring back anything that's actionable, process everything in your inbox, get back to 0, and then do it again. And then realize that you're not actually processing your email. You've started checking it again, so you need to do it less. I would also suggest cheating at all if at all possible. Delete emails that are actually moderately actionable and let people get back to you. And don't fiddle with it. Don't go make, I'm only gonna have folders for my most important clients. I'm only gonna check email like midday. Like, just stop. Process your email at a set cadence. In terms of, I'm gonna jump back here. In terms of you helping other people, because no one likes shitty emails and receiving shitty emails. So what you can do to help people is have subject lines that are actionable and write really good subject lines so that other people that are trying to practice really sterile inboxes know what's happening. So don't bury the lead. So say, hey, Scott, I need this file, instead of, a subject line of, how you doing, bro? And then a whole paragraph of, hey, man, it was really great to see you at the supermarket yesterday. And your mask looks great. I hope your wife is doing all right. Listen, by the way, did you Dropbox me? That just don't mess with other people in that sense. Don't bury the lead. Be thankless about your email. It's a communication method, and you have to hustle through that. And writing handwritten cards is the time for floof. There's a time and a place to send subject-only emails, which is to say that you don't actually need a body in your email. You can throw someone an email with the subject only, saying no message, saying, hey, I got it. And then you can also not email people. As much as I'm kind of like mega early millennial, pick up the phone. If you can eliminate like an 8-message thread by picking up the phone and chatting with someone for 2 minutes, do that. And I really strongly encourage that. And then the last kind of triage tip, or second last, is, you can tell people if you're buried in a project, you're working on a deadline, put your autoresponder on and be like, hey, I might not get back to you today because I'm sprinting on something. And 11 times out of 10, the client is going to be like, I admire that. That's very cool. I appreciate you doing that. And then last, I would say, minimize noise. So if 8 people don't need to know that you've started editing a project or working on something, don't just email your point of contact and then call it there. And that's as quickly as I can get through that deck. And I realize I took so much time, and I'm so sorry, but that's me
good,
all good
ranting about email for a little bit of time, and I will end the screen share so that maybe we can chat about some of those things.
Yeah, I have a question.
Absolutely. Psyched.
So to your point of being thankless and getting to the point, a lot of people, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate on this, not saying that I do this. A lot of people are very much there's an email etiquette, right? You have to say, hi, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. Thanks, Leah. So how do you feel about people that always kind of have that segmented process? Just cut it out.
Yeah. So my favorite hack for that, when you need to keep up appearances, is, do you know how in any email client you can run multiple different signatures?
Yeah.
So my hack for that, when you need to keep up appearances, is create 3 or 4 different signatures. And remember that signatures don't necessarily always have to be a footer. They can include a bunch of copy beforehand, which is, hi, Jane Doe. So great to hear from you. Hope you're doing well, comma, lorem ipsum, bunch of bullshit, your actual email signature. And you can create 3 or 4 of these with your preamble, your pleasantries, all of that. And you can pick your signature of pleasantries number 3, and that has all of your stuff ahead of time, so that, replying to the email takes 30 seconds instead of taking 4 minutes and sucking the time from you. So that's my biggest hack, is put your pleasantries in an email signature. And remember that email signatures don't necessarily have to just be a footer. They can be a whole bunch of body content as well that you can just kind of populate with lorem ipsum, and then, add Susan in with the, hey, so great to hear from you.
So do you think all of that is necessary, though? Bottom line, does it even fucking matter?
Difficult to say.
Yeah.
As you know, Leah, because you have significant experience in the agency side of things, you have to feel out your client. Once you've spent 3 or 4 months chatting with, production manager Scott, you can send him back an email that doesn't say, hi, Scott, nice to hear from you. You can just say, got that done. Leah. And he's not going to think you're a bitch. He's just going to think you're being productive. So, of course, everything with that is kind of situational in that sense. And you still have to use your adult communication perspective, kind of spidey senses about how that might go down. But for any cold emails or any interactions that aren't seasoned or anything like that, you can fire up a couple templates worth of pleasantries and vary them enough so that people won't pick up on it, and that'll cut down your response time from a bunch to a little less.
I never really considered that before, using the signature as more than just a signature, using it as an actual email template itself, where you just replace the name and replace the message that you have on there. I didn't think about that before. That's really smart if you're using a program, probably like Gmail and stuff too, right? To kind of have those templates.
I do that with Honeybook. Yeah. Honeybook's got a ton of different templates, and so whatever process I'm in with, if I'm sending a brochure or if I'm sending an invoice, it's all just it's nice because it has it's all a template of what I would say, but then I just it fills their name in for them, so it's just a quick process, like you said,
cool.
2-3 seconds.
So this is the thing in most web apps, you're filling out your templates yourself, right? But the thing is, a lot of people don't realize Gmail is also a web app, and just because you're not sending someone an invoice doesn't mean you can't have a template. It's not just a signature, but you can also have a template for just I'm really busy right now, and pre-populate that content, and then just change their name and fire it out. That's 30 seconds as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, damn, that's really cool. I'm inspired, man. Actually, it's so relative because when I hit you up and I was like, yeah, you want to talk about something? You're like, yeah, absolutely, and you brought up email in the inbox zero stuff, and I was like, yeah, cool. And I was like, oh, I'm super stoked to hear what he's gonna say, but I didn't consider that I was gonna walk away with another thing to add onto my list. So
sorry about that. I mean, the only other game we can play if you guys want is, I know we're all kind of almost over time and I've hogged a bunch of it, but if you want to play the game whereby you read me a couple subject lines of emails you have in your inbox, or even ones you're considering, what is this? Is this delete, delegate, do, defer? We can play that game and we can have the kind of email real talk.
Let's do an example. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'll pull mine up here. I don't care.
Okay, more wine.
All right, we got Gmail. Okay, so I really wish I deleted my emails and used my inbox as kind of like that priority list of tasks to do and things to do, because I do get caught up. I defer a lot of messages because I want to come back, especially if they're asking for links and whatnot and I'm out shooting or whatever. I don't want to be doing that on my phone, or I'm busy or whatever, and I look at it. I check if it's something I need to respond to right away, and if it's not right this second, I leave it with the intention on coming back to it. And then I get 30 more messages of Facebook because I tried to log in but had to change my password and blah, 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 blah. And then next thing I know, that email is so far down my screen, I forget about it. And then it comes back up as it's saying hey, this person sent you this 6 days ago. Did you see it? And I'm like, oh shit,
Deferrals only work if they don't get lost in the noise.
So that's my problem.
Part of good, email inbox hygiene is, for many people, is deleting on the fly. So if you get a Facebook notification that someone liked your shit, swipe that across on your phone and delete it, because by the time you get back to your desktop to process email, you're not going to have 40 messages, 10 of which are Facebook and Twitch and Instagram and TikTok and a bunch of bullshit.
Right.
You're just going to have the 8 things that you legitimately deferred because you're either not going to respond to them on mobile or they take longer than 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Okay, I got an email here for you.
Let's do it.
This is a prime example of some shit here. Comedian dash funny. That's all it says. It is from my father, and it is a link to a YouTube video.
Okay.
Watch it.
So here's the thing. I haven't. I just opened it. It was sent to me 12 hours ago at 7:40 a.m. So here's a classic 7:40 a.m. I'm probably not awake because I probably went to bed a couple hours before that. And then it gets like 10 more emails throughout the day, whatever. And then I'm sitting down to check my stuff, and I'm going through and I'm looking at priority, and I have like work from the college. An insurance claims thing is in here, and then this next one's from my dad, and it's a YouTube video. I sat down right now. I would like to watch. This is where what do I do? I got more important things to do, but my dad sent me this because he thinks it's funny, and I want to reply because that's A, it's respectful, and B, I mean it's just funny. Like, what's the time? So like, what do I do?
Yeah, so a couple things here. So remember that there is a time limit on due of 2 minutes. So we don't know how long it's going to take you to deal with this email until you go and check how long the video is. Yeah. How long is the video? So click the link. How long is the video?
All right. 11 minutes and 50 seconds.
Okay. So then while you're processing your email, you cannot deal with this message. So there's a couple things you can do here, which is you can respond and defer, because sometimes actions get bundled, right?
Yeah.
That's a really important thing to remember, is sometimes actions get bundled. So you can respond and defer, which is thanks, Dad. We'll check later, Curtis.
Yeah.
Fire that off, and then it stays in your inbox because you haven't finished it yet. So you've both deferred it and responded, which is okay, but it stays in your inbox because it hasn't been done yet. And that's one action. Or you could just lie, which is to not watch it, close the tab, respond to your dad and say LOL dash Curtis, and then get back to the shit that pays you, because your parents are unlikely to send you solid memes or solid video links.
I feel like I do this to them all the time.
I think his mom's watching.
They're probably in here. They're probably in here watching for sure. But no, that's. I mean,
I'm
it's
cool
from
with
everybody.
Papa and Mama Huseman. We're homies.
Yeah,
so
they like him. Because that like, and this comes like that exact thinking. I think could also relate to like my Instagram DMs. Because
100%. That's an inbox like anything else. So I just want to finish that thought, which is to say, if you actually do want to watch this video, you say it's 11 minutes. That's very simple, which is to say that you defer because it takes longer than 2 minutes and you need to do it. So it stays in your inbox.
Or I guess I could watch it while doing my inbox.
Then it will take you longer to process your inbox.
Yeah, you
want to minimize the amount of time that you're processing email. You want to go from start to finish. You have 8 things to go over, and you're assigning 1 of 5 actions to all of them. So this one, you found out how long it takes. It takes 11 minutes, which means you defer. It stays in your inbox until it's done if you want to watch it. So then it's move on to the next message.
My mom pops in the chat and says, ha ha, capital letters, WTF.
Oh, tell her she's my favorite. Oh, I see that.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard. And I mean, that's like the tricky part, and I'm sure we all deal with it. But like, when I'm doing lots of stuff, especially like this, I get a lot of messages. So say like I talked to Rod today, I talked to Brady on the phone today, I talk to Leah every day when we're doing stuff like this, let alone my work, other jobs that I have, the relationships I have, friends that I'm trying to maintain. And then I'm getting this, and then I'm like posting this stuff online, trying to like be engaging and sharing this on Instagram. And then I'm getting Instagram DMs asking me questions about cameras and shit like this. And then also people just, sending me funny things, and I like want to consume it. And I'm trying to manage all this shit. Like, no, I think what I'm going to do moving forward actually is I want to take my email inbox, and that's like my prime place of messaging if you want me to do anything. So maybe even if they like hit me up in Instagram and they ask me like to do something or whatever, I might just be like, yo, can you send me that in an email so that I get like collect all the important stuff into like one place. Because my problem right now is I'm checking like 10 different things. So we got like the Discord, Facebook group chats, like, and then there's being like tasks, I guess, in everything. And I try to put them into Asana, but then you just don't like.
Here's the thing is, I completely understand this. And what you need to do from a business perspective is prioritize and essentially deem, royalty in a hierarchy of the things of where they are importantly. So it's not to say you may well get a business lead from Instagram, and that's fine, but it's not going to close there. Right. You're going to close that on email. And at the end of the day, you have to say, I'm going to take one inbox at a time and say, this one's the most important, and this is where I'm going to do my work. So you can treat any inbox, whether it be, Instagram or whatever it is, and apply kind of inbox zero rules to it. But so much of managing an inbox is relegating things elsewhere. So you should relegate paying work from Instagram to your inbox, because that's the one you're actually going to spend the time processing and spend the time working.
Checking. That's the one I'll be taking seriously.
Because sometimes on the other side of the chat, whoever you're talking to doesn't want to switch the means of communication.
Yeah, that sucks.
Kind of gets tricky there too. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
That's where I would rely on like something like Asana, that you control the organization on your end.
The other thing you can do is you can kind of ghetto your way into, if you only run one piece of your life with inbox zero and you only check and process one thing, and say it's your Gmail inbox, you can send yourself an email and say, respond to @Scott312 on Instagram and fire that into your inbox. And then it will stay there as one of 9 things as your to-do list in your inbox, because it takes you longer than 2 minutes to do. You can't delete it because it hasn't been done yet. You can't delegate it because you have to do it. You can't respond because you haven't responded yet. You can't defer it, or you are deferring it, which is why it stays in your inbox. The kind of like inbox zero hack is that if there's something on another platform that you need to not slip through the cracks, and again, the whole system is designed so that you don't let things slip through the cracks. You don't have an email that goes 3 weeks unresponded. You can email yourself something about another platform.
I love that. Yeah,
that's cool. Like that. That's a good one.
You know what, too? I think bottom line of this, if you get your email under control, just as like a baseline floor minimization technique, it's solid.
Yeah, I like
that. For
that. So
many people, their email runs them, and they glance at the icon in the dock of their iPhone that says 3,052 emails. They've just given up. They're like, fuck it. I weigh 400 pounds. I'm not starting jogging. It's never going to happen. But the reality is, like, you can actually go down to 9% body fat. You literally just take everything in your inbox and archive it, and then scroll through 8 pages of Gmail and bring back the 8 messages that is you actually have to do. You have to pay your cable bill. You have to respond to your mother about funeral arrangements or whatever it is. Like, there's 8 important emails that are actually in your life. And then from there, like, you actually start winning immediately, and then you can relapse as often as you want and get out to 2 or 3 pages of Gmail and do the same thing so many times. And it's not actually about getting to zero. It's about getting to a place where your inbox is a holding medium for things that you've deferred, and that it's temporary, and that it doesn't grow over time, and that you're processing stuff and not checking it. Everything in your inbox is actionable, full stop. And if it's not, it should not be in there.
I know we want to wrap it up, but I heard an analogy the other day that I kind of want to share with you guys that's a bit related, and also do an uplifting kind of moment for the situation that we're in. And it's about airplane forces. And it's that there's an equal amount of drag. In order for an airplane to take off, right, they originally thought it was impossible. And in order for an airplane to take off, there's an equal amount of drag and thrust for it to work. There's also up and down weight. But yeah, so it's kind of like, if it's pulling you back, what will it take in order for you to lift off and take off and actually get in there and claim that sort of impossible task? You know what I mean? Does that
Oh,
make
for
sense?
sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
I like
that's
that. It's cool.
I like talking to you guys. You guys make me feel so good. A bunch of rock stars. I love it.
A bunch of just it's funny, and like I struggled when we were like trying to name this idea of this podcast. I was like, what do we call it? Because like I like originally we were just tossing around creatives and artists, and that could be anybody and anything. But then Brady and I were like, you know what, this is also business, small business,
So much more. To it.
so much random stuff. But I guess the common thing is that it's not necessarily like what industry the person is or what they're doing. It's more about like how they it's like how like the drive that they have for what they're doing. So it's less about like what they're doing and how they're doing it, but it's the people that are like dedicated to being better at what they're doing, or doing better at what they're doing. And that's kind of what I found interesting. It was like, we're all creators. It doesn't matter what kind of business you run. You could be a gym owner, but you still had to create that gym, and you're still creating things like ideas and concepts and pushing them all out there. So that's something that we're trying to figure out, is exactly like how we write the description on kind of what we're doing. Cause we have people from all over the map that are getting involved in this. So yeah, that's funny.
That's the biggest benefit too, is having all these different ideas coming together. I run my business a certain way, but let's say someone that owns a gym does something, and I listen to that idea and I'm like, oh my gosh, that is like exactly what I need to do. That's the purpose behind this. And so
That's cool.
Someone that may like run be like a banker or something, and they have to deal with client relationships. Maybe they do something that I need to learn that helps me with my clients' relationships. So that's why we keep going on this. But hey, thanks Rod for that information.
Yeah, dude.
Tidbit. Like that was solid. Don't worry about your timing.
Rod is Rod's a genius. No, going over it was totally fine. Yeah, man, I just you just get me so pumped up and inspired. I'm probably gonna spend the rest of my evening playing with my inbox now, because I want to make sure that nothing falls through the cracks, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm really struggling with my messages. I went through last night to reply to some people. I felt bad. I was replying to text messages from Tuesday, and I was like,
Done that.
or like Monday, or like, no, the one was last Saturday, and I was like, oh my goodness, I felt terrible.
It only takes 60 seconds to start, which and it's scary to do so, but you literally go select all in your inbox and you archive every single message. Then you go over to your archive, bring anything back that's actionable, and then you just start with those 9 or 11 messages. Anything you don't bring back, if it's important enough, someone will ping you again for it. Be like, hey, Curtis, have you forgotten about me? Nope, just move to a different email system. Happy to help.
All right, so all my clients, you heard it here first. It's a little excuse. I'm tossing everything in there. If you get lost, I'm so sorry. Just message me. There's no, I won't feel bad. I think, honestly, though, most of my clients know that I need reminders. I think Leah probably knows that I need reminders. I know Brady knows that I need reminders. That's just how I run, and I appreciate when people like hit me up, so don't feel bad about it.
This actually might be a perfect thing to kind of mention. I know Curtis and I talked about this last time, is maybe leaving like each segment with a bit of a challenge for those who are here, but also for those who are maybe listening. Like, let's leave this challenge. I think this is a great thing to talk about. Maybe going through your emails, starting to do what Rod was going through. Just take those first 60 seconds, start going through the 5 Ds and doing your emails, and then we'll see how we're doing when it comes next week when we get back together.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Cool. I'm not gonna do it right now.
I'm down.
But like, I'm down for you doing it.
He's like, not right now, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Rod, you said that we could snag a copy of that PDF, eh? You're muted. You're muted.
He's muted.
It
happened.
I'm glad he did it to himself.
What we feared the most.
There we are. Yeah, I will absolutely get a copy of the PDF that we can put in show notes or something like that. But yeah, copy the deck and copy this JPEG. Like, what a lot of people do is they literally just print this off and tape it to the bottom of their monitor or something like that.
That's
so you have
exactly what I was thinking. I'm gonna take those sticky notes that I got. I'm gonna write that shit down and put it on my monitor right here. Gonna focus on that all week, and then I think when we come back and do the next one, we should follow up and see kind of how this has gone for us, and we can talk a little more about it.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks again. That was awesome. I want to just give everyone a chance to spit your info about where they can find you at. Curtis Media for me on Instagram. Uncensored.live on Instagram. That's more popular right now. That's where all my shit's going. And Brady.
Yeah, so amped_up_entertainment for me on Instagram. We're also on Facebook as well. If you're interested for anything, just go to our website. Our website's where everything is kind of based right now, and that's where we're kind of funneling people towards. Leah.
Right now, I'm just using my own personal Instagram, which is peanut butter hats, and I'm just tagging Uncensored Live for a lot of my stuff too.
Brad.
Yeah, so Brad Bogdan. Everything I own is Brad Bogdan. My website's bradbogdan.com. Instagram's _Brad Bogdan _ Facebook's Brad Bogdan. Message me anywhere. I'm a social media beast. I'll get back to you.
Social media beast.
Much like Brad, I also have a unique enough name to own at Rod Leland everywhere on the internet, including .com.ca. So literally any platform that exists, I'm at Rod Leland, or username Rod Leland, or rodleland.com, whatever it is. I'm very easy to find, but as a recovering and relapsing photographer, Instagram's more stories than posts, but I'm psyched to chat with everyone. And Curtis, Brady, thanks again for your work in pulling together this tonight. And I'm like psyched for the next one. Would love to be a repeat guest if that's in the cards.
100%, man. One last thing quick before we get off. I want to toss on Brad's Instagram on here and just show you a quick video so you guys can see. You guys can have some faith and some belief. I'm gonna throw the screen to you guys. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. We had some problems with that last time, but I do know that the stream here can watch this. So I just want to toss this on here. Happy Sunday, everyone! A little teaser of a wedding film I'm working on among my ocean of work in progress projects. I just want to play this back for you guys.
Exposure.
Quick. Yeah.
You've been with me when I laugh or cry.
Dude, just dial, bro. It's so good, man.
You've been with me all along.
Audio is going. You're good.
Nice. Yeah, this is Brad's page here.
I actually had Brad do some work
Commercial
for me.
shoots.
A couple of years ago, I organized and planned an event for music, and we had a bunch of DJs come in and had Brad do video for us. And about 4 months later, he popped off a video, and holy, was it so good. I think the night we got it, my wife and I sat there and watched it like 20 times over, and like it was so good. So Brad's awesome. Look him up.
Oh, and Brad, you were at Shambhala too, eh?
But I was.
We ran into each other briefly. One moment or two. This past year, yeah.
Yeah, it rained like 3 days in a row.
Yeah, it was.
I was like
it was
filming.
a disaster.
I was filming with like an umbrella the entire time.
I remember seeing that. Damn, this is tight, man.
Oh, it makes me miss it.
I know.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Curtis and I have done Shambhala together for the past 4 years.
4 years now, yeah.
Hey, what did you guys work on last Shambhala? What was your...
We worked on Troy Boy last year.
Cool.
Yeah, we did Troy Boy, and then the year before, Stooky Sound, someone Delta Heavy. I don't know. We did the first year we went there to do a magazine with Rendered Magazine that she was a part of, just shooting like a little docu-series, and that's when it was so random. We were supposed to interview Troy Boy. He happened to, right when he pulled up, we were at the campsite right next to him. He hopped out of the car quick. And we were like, yo, what's up, man? Like, we're going to interview you. And he's like, yo, let's do it right now. And I just happened to have my camera ready. So we just like rolled. And then he was like, yo, you want to come shoot my set after? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So we shot the set, showed him, edited some footage quick the next day in the laptop. He's seen it and he was like, yo, guys, this is fucking tight. Come shoot the next one. And yeah, it just developed. Now he's like a good friend of ours. We stay in touch with him a little bit. I know Leah talks to him every once in a while. He's a busy man all over the place. But yeah, that was kind of like the that was the start of our Shambhala, and then so we just have a special place at Shambhala. We just really like it. It's treated us well.
That's like Shambhala verite filming right there. Just it was popping it out.
Yeah.
It was crazy, man.
That's
and Shambhala has been that for me for like many experiences. I think about like I shoot lots of stuff like that, but that's the place I think most where I develop like a better connection with the artist that kind of like expands past that festival. Just I think it's something special for them too. So I don't know, we could have a whole thing about that festival one day, but anyway, we should wrap this up. Thanks for coming on. I hope you guys learned something. The people that are watching, inbox 0 is the challenge. That's what I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the day, and I want to kind of keep up for the week with that, and then we'll touch base in that a little bit. So yeah, for those people listening, if you want me to do things, you better pop in that email, and you better make your subject an actionable item that I know what's going on with it, or it's going to get archived. and you have to follow up later.
Nice, I love it. Thank you.
Alrighty, thanks for watching. We're going to close this out now.